Okay.
We are here today with Kelly Blanchard, who is the famous Muse, the author of the Chronicles of Lorick, am I pronouncing that correctly? And world-famous trouble causer. So tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're working on at the moment, because I know you have rather a few projects.
Yeah, I do have a lot of projects. First of all, let me just say a little bit about me. I'm Kelly Blanchard. I live in Texas, in the middle of nowhere. We don't even have a coffee shop or a bookstore. It's not good.
Oh,
The
no.
only thing I have is online. So, but yeah, I've got a Doberman. Her name is Valkyrie. Great dog, and 2 cats. And then, of course, my husband, who's an EMT, and he's fantastic because I'm like, I need to injure a character. I need to kill a character. Can I do it like this? So he gives me that information. He's like, well, if you want this result, well, you need to have it like that. I'm like, okay, thanks. So, and
great.
he's also a writer, so we co-write whenever we get to have events. So, right now, I am currently waiting for the book cover of the 8th book for the Chronicles of Lorick, which will be published beginning of next year. That's the plan. And I also have a nonfiction book that I finished writing. I got to revise it and, polish up. And that's supposed to be published the beginning of next year as well.
Oh, my.
And yeah, I know. And then the last book of the Chronicles of Lorick is also going to be published next year. And I have more series that I've already written that I'll be publishing and so forth. And right now, I'm actually 2 series ahead of myself, which is where I'm writing. So, and I'm actually writing 2 books at the same time right now. One is in one series, and the other one I'm co-writing with my husband in another series. But they all take place in the same universe, so it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, okay. Transitioning between series when you're too far ahead, I'm sure that's always a challenge.
Really because the Chronicles of Lorick is kind of like the main frame. And then I have a series that happens before that, and then I have a series that happens after that. And I'm writing a series before it, and I'm co-writing the series after it. And I'm writing right now by myself the series before it, and I accidentally got details from the Chronicles of Lorick that doesn't happen yet.
Oops.
In it. And my husband's like, this doesn't happen yet. I was like, oh, right.
So how much planning do you have to do to keep all that straight? Because honestly, I could not do that.
I mean, I got on my head. And it's just, I plan it, and I tend to plan the entire series, and so I know how many books there are and what's going to happen in each book.
Right.
And then let it go. And if I hit a roadblock, that's when I brainstorm with my husband. I'm like, okay, I know where I have to go. I don't get there. And he helps me with that. So.
Yeah. And switching between fiction and nonfiction, how is that for you?
That was hard.
Yeah.
I write nonfiction. But Michael Evan, he said, Kelly, you do such encouragement and you have all these answers for writers. So why don't you just put in a nonfiction book? I was like, oh, yeah, I could do that.
Okay, that'll work.
Yeah, exactly. So it was interesting. Some days I enjoyed writing the fiction better than the nonfiction. Other days I enjoyed writing the nonfiction better than the fiction, But I finished a nonfiction book, so I just focusing on the fun fiction parts now. So. Yeah.
All right, so you've got, let's see here, how many books coming out at the beginning of this next year? 2, 3?
2 books for the beginning of next year, and in mid-2020 is the 9th book. So, yeah.
All of the things happening all at once.
Well, if I had my way, I'll be publishing the first book of the next series at the end of that year. So, I don't know.
Well, I mean, you've got a year to go, so it's possible.
I mean, it's already written. So why not?
Oh, okay. Then it's just editing process and cover design and marketing and all of the little fiddly bits that you get.
Exactly. So it's a lot of fun, though.
Yeah, it sounds like. Okay, so tell us a little bit more about the plot of your Chronicles of Lorick, and then a little bit about your nonfiction piece, because I know about this much, and I apologize, my dog is barking in the background.
Okay, Chronicles of Lorick, it's a huge series, so and it kind of changes with each few books. So it's really summarize that. Basically, it follows Lorick, who's a sorcerer prince, and he's basically trying to do his best to help other people, but keeps blamed when everything goes wrong. That's basically what it is. And he's constantly, and I mean, so he's like, okay, well, I'm not going to help, but then people blame him for not helping, because he has magic. So
poor guy.
So, and it keeps getting bigger and bigger with each thing that happens, and there's more at stake with each book as things progress. And I explore a lot of different things, a lot of characters. I mean, Lloyd's the main character, but then you get to meet like Vixen, who's an assassin, and you get to see what personalities like and so forth, and her background, and all the characters, even minor characters have their own. I try to give them like a little bit of background for them, so they're not just shallow, characters there just to fill a void. Right. But basically, it focuses on Lloyd as he's trying to find a balance between helping people, because he wants to protect those he loves. Right. That's all he wants. And then bad things happen, and he gets blamed for it, and he gets blamed for not helping, So
poor guy. I just feel so badly for him. But I also, it's probably one of those amusing situations that writers will appreciate, but the readers will hate.
Oh, maybe. I mean, I think it's also, I think some people really appreciate the fact that, the protagonist isn't perfect and gets blamed for a lot of stuff, and you get to see his struggles with it. Yep. Because that prologue actually came from Loki. I was like, misunderstood.
Poor guy.
So that's what I kind of got the inspiration for Lorik. And then, of course, the rest of the story came together, and it's totally nothing like what you would expect for Loki. So.
Well, in Norse mythology, Loki is rather, oh my.
And that's, Lorik isn't always, he's not like that. I mean, he has some, mischievousness to him, but he's actually doing the right thing. And then, keep happening. So.
Poor. Is any of it ever actually his fault?
Not really, to be honest. Now, sometimes he does some things that, big ramifications. But then, he's normally trying to fix other people's mistakes.
Right.
And then, like, the whole story actually that began with him trying to fix somebody else's mistake. That if he had just stayed out of it, nothing would have happened. But because he tried to fix it, everything happened, and he,
Oh.
So.
Poor guy. That's just so sad. And, okay. I love characters who get stuck in situations that are not really their fault, but they have to fix it anyways. All right. We'll transition. Oops. As I knock the tea. Yeah, that would be bad. We'll transition into the non-fiction piece. So you said it's encouragement for writery types, and that it was Michael Evans' fault mostly. So can you give me a little bit more specific information without? Are there spoilers for nonfiction?
I don't think you can. Okay, so I have a Facebook group that's pretty large, and I interact with writers, all kinds of writers, and a lot of people come up to me asking me questions, and the thing I discovered is that it becomes very redundant. They're like, how do I make a good antagonist? I can answer that question like over and over again. I'm like, oh, okay. So that's when I decided to create a YouTube channel to just do videos for it. And so, okay, now if somebody asked me that question, I can at least direct them to that. So I started doing that, and then I met Michael, and he watched my YouTube channel. So he was like, you should just make it into a book, because some people aren't really on YouTube, so why not? So I was like, okay, well, that's a good idea too. I don't know why I didn't think of it. But it's mainly to offer tips and encouragement to beginning writers, especially people like they'll just get started. They don't know, like, there's one chapter that talks about that right now. Of course, I don't know what's going to happen when I revise it. But it's like when your family doesn't support or encourage you writing. What do you do? And how do you find time to write, and different things like that. And so I talk about a lot of things that, I haven't seen out there, because I looked on YouTube beforehand, and I just kept saying, how to self-publish your book? And I was like, okay, well, what happens if we're not there yet?
Yeah.
So I wanted to do, and then some people would say, okay, we're going to talk about description. I was like, okay, what if we're not even there yet? What if we don't have the courage to sit down and write, and so that's what this book is on. Of course, it covers a lot more, and I try to start at the very, very beginning and then try to be encouraging and offer some tips. And I cover some like dialogue description. I do cover some of it. I don't go into, great detail because otherwise the book would be really, really long. But
sorry, my cat, if I don't pay attention to her, she causes trouble.
Oh, kitty cat.
Yes, dear. Sorry, please do continue. I'm very interested because I don't hear a lot of people going from the very beginning.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I don't really hear a lot of people starting from the very beginning of, just I want to write a book, and then going to actually sitting down and doing that and going forward. And so I do think I'm thinking about maybe doing another one later, another book later. That's like, okay, so you finished your book. How do you get from there to, more? That's kind of what I'm trying to think. I'm not there yet. So
that's the tricky part. That's
I'm going to do a summary at the very end of the book. Going, okay, this is my tips, but I want to do it. I want to go into much more detail in another book. But I just, because somebody might pick the book up who's also struggling, but they finished the first book, but they weren't really sure. So, the book will still encourage them, and hopefully, if I keep in the last chapter and so forth, that kind of summarizes my process of finishing a book and getting it ready for publication. That was something they can look forward to. So, but I haven't gone back and revised it yet. Michael's going over and reading through it and so forth. And but we'll see what happens when we get that. So,
Well, it should be very exciting. Now, since you do the fiction versus nonfiction process, what does that look like? Average writing, I guess, day, or what situation is?
I write 2,000 words for one thing and 2,000 words for the other thing.
Right.
So when I was doing that, I was averaging 4,000 words a day. And but the nonfiction was easier because I didn't have to write 100,000 words. So, I mean, my novels at least are 100,000 words. But with the fiction, the nonfiction, I'm like, it could be 50,000 or less. So, it was a little bit easier. That's why when I finished, I was, I'm done. I'm still working on a novel, but I'm done with the nonfiction.
Hooray!
Yeah.
Do you have a least favorite part of the whole writing / publishing / marketing / etc. process?
I mean, there's always something, but I honestly, I think it's when I get my book back from the editor and I have to look at, the mistakes and go back to the screen, go back and forth, because my eyes get tired, and then it takes a long time, especially with my fiction books, because my fiction books can be very long. And I like to just hit it and be done with it. But, just editing. Yeah, it can be tiring shifting my eyes between one thing and another. Like when I'm proofing, like the physical book, to make sure everything's just, it's a constant shifting back and forth between the manuscript on the screen and the book, and fixing things going back and forth. To me, that's just tedious, and my eyes get tired, and but honestly, everything else, there's some good days and the bad days, but it's okay, and I figure it out.
Yeah. If you can get more good days than bad days, I think you've probably sorted everything out as best you can.
Exactly. So.
Okay, so as far as this concept of the Muse comes in, where did that come from? Because obviously I encountered it after it already existed, so I have no idea what the backstory is.
Okay, so it actually started before I was in any Facebook groups. I was just on Facebook. And I followed a lot of, beautiful pages that had lots of scene, pictures that were very beautiful. And so what I would do every time I found a beautiful picture, I would just show it on my Facebook wall. I had a lot of people, my friends and family, say, hey, I really like these pictures. They're really my day. And so I joined a Facebook group, a writing Facebook group, and I kept doing that but on my wall because, this is writing. You don't do that. And so I decided, these people might need that too. And so I took one picture and I would post it in there, and I would call it the picture of the day. And because, it's a writing group, and technically I didn't want to bombard people with pictures.
Sure.
So I did that, and I started doing that. And that became a thing, a very regular thing I would do in that group. And a lot of people are like, this is awesome. It's, that looks like my character. That looks like a scene or whatever. And so I then took that because that's when they started calling me the Muse, when I started doing that. And then I took that idea. I was like, you know what? I want to do more than just one picture a day because, I have so many pictures. So I then created my group.
Right.
And said, hey guys, just so you know, I have my group. So they came on over, and that's where I started doing a lot more pictures, and I started, encouraging more writers to write and answering questions. And, people have said that that's where they got inspired to do things and this and that. So, and then I started interviewing characters, and that was called Meeting with the Muse, and, it just kind of took off from there. So,
yeah. Well, having done that, I have to say it's very fascinating. And my characters, some of them should never be interviewed in that sort of depth.
You never know what happens. They might surprise you.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure you've had all sorts of fun with that.
Oh, yes. My favorite ones always tend to be the antagonists. As, I have a rule in the character interviews where you can't touch me. I mean, I'm like a ghost, basically. If they try to touch me, they pass through me. And so I've had many, bad guys try to kill me in the interviews. And because I made them angry, because I would ask them pointed questions like, why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? And they hate it. So they tried to. And then, of course, when they realize it doesn't work, then they start becoming more cooperative, and then they show a different side of themselves, and it's really interesting. So, yeah, it's fun.
I mean, always love a good antagonist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, character interviews are so fascinating. I've met so many characters, I cannot keep track of them all. Because I'm like, hey, Kelly, what do you think my character would do with this situation? I'm like, I don't remember which one that is. So, because I'm like, remind me which interview this was. I have interviewed several hundred characters by now.
Oh my, several hundred. Okay, then. Wow. That's quite impressive.
Sometimes an author would like to interview and then want me to interview the entire cast, one at a time. And it's a lot of fun because I haven't been able to read the books yet because I just don't have time to read, but I really want to read books of characters I've interviewed because they're like, really, they did that? I didn't. And then I can go, can I talk to your character, please? So.
Oh, wow, that would make a fascinating book.
Yeah.
Just story keeps going all along, and then there you are saying, hello, wait a second.
We had this conversation.
So what's next for the Muse group? Because there are other things planned, I understand?
Well, first thing we're trying to do is launch the nonfiction book. That's the first thing. Right. And then sometime mid to late 2020, we are going. We're wanting to do, like a clothing line kind of thing like that.
Ooh.
And so forth on it, and I've already been working design. It looks really cool, but of course, Michael's like, we're not doing that yet. I was like, I know, but it looks cool. But so that's one of the things we want to do, and eventually, I really want to do some like talks, and go to places and do talks like at schools. Right? And maybe even I've always wanted to do like a writing retreat, like host one. And so I do something like that, like a Muse retreat or something. I'm not sure, but so we have lots of ideas. It's gonna be more than that because I have always had these really, really big dreams. So, but that's what we're trying to plan. Not all of that's gonna happen next year, but we're hoping at least the books and maybe some talks, and then of course the clothing line hopefully next year. That's the plan.
And how does one go about doing a clothing line from a writer's perspective?
Well, I mean, it's not that it's just, I'm not taking it as a Chronicles of Loic, kind of, clothing line. I'm not doing like that. I'm taking the Muse concept of it. And because according to some people, they say that I would say a lot of quotable things. It's like, well, you need to put that on a t-shirt. I was like, okay. So, so I'm designing a lot of different things and so forth. And I don't know exactly how it all works because this is not my area of expertise, but it's an idea that I'm like, go ahead, and it looks really, really cool because I've been playing around with design and so forth. I've just one in my group of a silhouette and so forth, and it's really neat how to bring it all together. And there are some places online that you can put your design on and choose what clothing you want, and then people can then go and they can buy that from them, and they'll just create it and then ship it out to them, and I get paid. So
That's the important bit, right?
Exactly. So that's kind of the thing. We haven't decided where and how that's going to happen just yet, but that's the general idea of how it happens.
Okay.
So,
how interesting.
yeah.
And then writing retreats. What about conventions? Do you ever want to do conventions?
I don't know. The reason why I don't know is just a retreat would be massive for me because I have a tendency toward migraines and lots of noise and stimulation. It just really knocks me out. Now, of course, asked to do a talk at a convention, I'd probably do it. But I'm like, just do it for the talk and I'm gonna leave. but I've always wanted to do it, but I'm like, I don't know if I can physically handle it.
Yeah. I understand that one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But that would be fun.
The retreat, I could possibly contain what happened,
Yeah, well, you can, figure out where you do it, the number of people, and et cetera, all the activities and whatnot.
Exactly. So that's what the hope. So.
Okay. So getting back to the world of writing and stories and whatnot. Is there a story out there that you wish you had written?
No.
No?
There's stories I haven't written that they still don't exist. Other people haven't written them either. But off the top of my head, there's one in mind that I've thought about. But I was like, you know what? If I write this book, people are gonna probably think I'm insane.
You say that like it's a bad thing.
Because it's talking about a writer who it's focusing on a writer, and then the characters kind of take over, kind of that, and that can be really scary. I was like, I don't want people to actually think that's what happens. So because writers balance the delicacy between insanity and sanity,
Well, sure.
So that's something there's an idea that's that I've played with, but it's like it doesn't really work in my universe anywhere. So but maybe it will sometime, I don't know.
I cannot tell you how many ideas I've got revolving around the world of writers.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so that would be fun. And then, so you have story ideas that you want to write, and no one, so if there's an author out there that you could steal their ability to, capture an audience or create a scene, would you?
Not really, because I think everybody's unique, and I know what I'm doing, and the audience I'm creating, and so forth, and the environment I'm creating with my things, it works for me, and I don't really think I could take somebody else's and do that. Now, of course, there might be other authors whose fans might like what I do, but it's for a different reason and so forth. So yeah, I don't know. I don't really think too much about what other authors are doing. I'm just like, I got too much to worry about.
Yeah, that sounds about right. You have a lot of things going on.
Yeah, it's hard for me to keep track of sometimes.
So how's co-writing going?
Co-writing, so it's fun.
Yeah?
Okay, so the character interview? Remember that style of writing, but with an entire book. Yes.
Oh my.
So basically, I have a character, he has a character. A lot of people say role playing, but we actually have multiple characters. We plan, right? We're like, okay, we have to plan the entire series first. We go, okay, this is what's going to happen. And then we focus on one book, and we talk about what's going to happen in that book. And he has some characters, I have other characters. And then if those characters interact with each other, that's when we co-write back and forth. But sometimes the character might do something with another character that I write. So that's a solo thing for me. So I'm like, okay, I'll just write down my own. And then I bring it in when it's time for that scene to show up in the story.
Sure.
But and then sometimes I can't write something. So I'm like, I'm just too tired. Can you write this fight scene for me? He's like, okay, yeah, sure. So I'm gonna write it. So it's a lot of fun. And we tend, when we are focused on it, and I'm not writing anything else, we can average 10,000 words a day. So,
wow. Okay, yeah. That's impressive.
We managed to write 100,000 word novel in 2 weeks and so forth.
Wow.
That's
okay then.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Now, of course, we haven't done that with this book we're working on right now.
Sure.
Because I'm working on another book and that one. So, but to me, the co-writing is the fun writing. So.
Wow. That is a fascinating method. I've not seen that one before. I've done similar things with, straight up role-playing type of things, but never a full novel.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I've done it with a few other people, and like, this is so addictive. I was like, I know, right? Because I literally do it all day, and I still get things done. Like,
Yeah.
if he's at work and I'm home, then I can send him an email with my reply to his character, and then I can do something, and then when he finally has a moment, he can just really quickly reply, and then I'll say, oh, okay, and I'll reply to it, and I get back to my work.
Sure.
And then just all day literally writing. And then I just put it on a document. I'm like, okay, well, we wrote 10,000 words today. Yay.
All right then. Wow. I would not be able to get anything done. I'd be so like, okay, let's wait for the response. The response is, yeah, it's coming.
It's so much fun. I mean, like, there's sometimes my character will do something that I know is going to embarrass his character. I'm like, and he's right there. We share the computer when we're at home.
Mm-hmm.
We share the computer. So, like, the only thing we never allow each other to do is he can't read what I'm writing while I'm writing it, because I'm a fixer. So I'm like, don't read it. So we always don't look until it's time to read it. Mm-hmm. So we sit next to each other, and I have my laptop. So I'm typing sometimes I just give him a look, like, haha. And then he's like, what are you doing? I was like, you'll see. And then give him it, and he's like, ah, okay. So
that sounds really awesome.
It's so
and yeah, so how do you do the series ahead of where you are now? Is this just because you've planned it out beforehand?
Because, I mean, the book, are you talking about like the book I'm working on by myself?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I already know what happened in that series because it kind of leads up to the Chronicles of Lorik and some events from that.
Sure.
So, and then I had already planned the next series that Matthew and I are actually writing right now.
Mm-hmm.
We had to write that first, and then I would work on this other one. But then he's like, I can't co-write right now because I'm really busy. So I was like, okay, well, I'm waiting for you. I'm going to start in this other series. Mm-hmm. So I did, and then he's like, hey, I have time. I was like, okay, let's do it. Let's see if I can do both. So yeah, it's a lot of fun, and I'm glad because there's lots of things from my series actually that kind of links into that series too, which I wouldn't have known had I not begun that series.
Right.
So it's how that works out.
Interesting. And what about these other ones that you've got, already written, you said?
Well, the Chronicles of Lorik is already complete. I mean,
yeah.
Complete. 8 and 9 are the last 2 books, and they're already written, already ready to go. After that is a series that Matthew and I co-wrote, and that's called A Cerulean Gambit, and there were 5 books to that. And we wrote those 5 books from like January to April. That's how long it took us to write all 5 books.
Wow. Okay.
And so those books are already done. And waiting for me to go back and revise them and then everything. And then I already wrote the first book of the next series, the solo series that I'm working on, which is like 3 years after the Cerulean Gambit. So I wrote the first book, and I'm working on the second one right now. I'm a little bit more than halfway done. And then we have that's all the books that I've done right now.
Okay.
So yeah.
So, wow. Okay, I'm impressed to have that much already done.
Yeah, I'm way ahead. Like, if I plan it right, I'm planning, like, I'm finishing up the Chronicles of Lorik next year. And then I want to start publishing the Cerulean Gambit, like, every quarter of 2021. So that'll take me through 2021. I'll be done with that series. And then, hopefully, after that, I'll do, like, this. Then my next series, which is called The Assassin Pirate right now. And that would be, like, 2022. And then Matthew and I co-writing right now will be, like, 2023. So I'm way ahead of myself.
Yeah, no kidding. Wow. Okay. Super impressed about that. Moving sideways once again, the best money you've ever spent as an author or with authory type funds. I've heard interesting replies to this one. Usually it comes in the form of editor. My favorite is A Trip to the Grand Canyon. And then Andy Peliquin buying weapons that featured in his books. Because why not?
No, I don't. Everything to me is just an investment for, like my book covers and everything like that. Now, that's awesome. My book covers, I love my book covers.
Yes, they're great.
But I don't have enough money to spend for fun. Now, of course, I have gotten weapons. I have done that. I mean, for my birthday, Matthew took me to a restaurant called Medieval Times. And That's where they have, knights and, real life jousting in front of you, and you eat food, and it's really awesome. It's so much fun. It's a whole. And well, of course, outside they have, merchandise you can buy, and they had this really, really, really awesome dagger set, which it just looked really awesome. So I had my eye on it. I was like, that looks so cool, and so I got it. And so that was fun. I haven't been able to use that yet because honestly, as a weapon on somebody, it doesn't really work. Because I put a picture of it and people are like, oh, I would use that for my story or my character. And I was like, if you do that, you really need to secure this because it doesn't really look like you think it would, but it looks cool.
So it just needs a few modifications.
Yeah. Now, of course, I guess if you can say, like, maybe you would say, like, I did put money toward learning martial arts, fencing, archery, kind of stuff like that. So
okay, that counts. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So I did that because I wanted to be able to write fight scenes really well, and so I actually do, I know that stuff. So especially the fencing. Oh, fencing was so much fun when I used to do it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But more than archery.
Yeah, I like the sword fighting better because I can stab people.
Good answer. That was fantastic.
I mean, archery, you could technically stab somebody too from a distance, but you're not supposed to shoot somebody. You're supposed to shoot a target. But with fencing, you can actually have a person there,
That's true. I mean, you could shape the target as a person, put a picture of your character that you need to cause some pain to or something.
Yeah, I know a few that people would want me to do that too. Yeah, but no, fencing was so much fun though because I'm left-handed, and as a left-handed, I have an advantage, and so it was fun.
Oh, so. I love fighting left-handed. People get so confused.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. So what's next? Are you gonna take up? Oh, I don't know, hand-to-hand combat or something?
I did that. That was martial arts.
Okay. All right. Yeah. What style? There are a bunch of different kinds.
Yeah, I know. I did several different kinds of martial arts. I didn't like all of them, but yeah. So I learned enough to write well.
Sure.
I got my black belt in Taekwondo, and I had to help teach that and so forth. So that was fun. But then I was like, you know what? I don't like being a mean person because in Taekwondo, we sometimes instruct you like, you need to say this, you need to do this. I'm like, okay, you know what? So it kind of got overbearing sometimes, and I was like, I don't really like it. I mean, how to fight, that's nice. Yeah. But yeah, there's a lot of other things I want to do just for fun, hobbies kind of like that. But I haven't been able to do it yet, but we'll see what happens. So
okay. All right. Yeah. Very, very cool. Method writer.
Basically.
Always fun. Mm-hmm. Oh, I wish I could find places around here that did stuff like that, but not so much.
Yeah, I know. It was hard here to find everything. Like with the fencing, my family had a business in town, and we had space for a fencing class. So I went to town and I found an instructor. Hey, would you guys come over here and teach?
Sure. Okay. Yeah, that works. That sounds fantastic. Okay, so is there anything else you'd like to add, writing related or otherwise?
I don't know. You've asked a lot of good questions. But yeah, no, I don't think so. On top of my head, I can't think of anything. So
okay, that'll work. I did have one question that I meant to ask you, apart from these others. How did you get involved with Michael Evans?
Oh, that's a fun story. First of all, you and that he ignored me. First, I was in the fantasy focus group for a long time, and I would comment on posts that he made and stuff like that, and he just never even acknowledged it at all. And then he made a post talking about like lawn series or whatever. And then one of my writer friends, Andrew Michaels, he posted that all my book covers. Hey, if you like a lawn series, you should really check out Kelly Blanchard's Chronicles of Lloyd series. And he showed a picture. Well, apparently the covers got Michael's attention. So he friended me and sent me a message going, hey, so somebody recommended your books. And then so we started talking, and I didn't tell him anything about the past. We started talking, and then it hit off really, really well, and he liked what I was doing with the Muse. He was kind of impressed with it. Mm-hmm. And then later, I was like, oh, by the way, you really ignored me with everything. He's like, I did what? And he then went back, and he found every single comment I had made, and he commented back on every single one.
Oh my.
I was like, you didn't have to do that. He was like, no, I built that though. I was like, well, I mean, I appreciate it, but you know. But
Wow.
I was like, yeah, I was invisible to you. You didn't know who I was. I knew who you were, but you didn't know who I was, and that's okay. So it's funny. So that's how we met, and it's been a good time.
Yeah. Well, from what I can tell, you two are about to cause huge amounts of trouble. So I'm looking out for all of it.
Yes.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
So.
Yeah, so many plans for the new year, which, 2020, that'll be fun.
I know, right? It's going to be perfect. So.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for doing this. It's been absolutely fantastic talking with you. I now need to go explore all of your books, not just the one that's in my queue to read next.
Yeah, well, you have fun with that one. Somebody yesterday just said he finished book 2. I was like, oh, just enjoy the first chapter of book 3. And he commented today going, oh, why do you have to do that to me?
No. Be prepared for some of that from me. I get rather invested in these characters.
Yes, he was like, he reviewed book 2, and he was like, just so you guys know, there's a lot of fight scenes and battle scenes, and it stressed me out. Okay. So I love it when people tell me like that. It's like, oh, just wait. Just wait.
Wow, I'm not sure if I should be impressed from a writer angle or like really annoyed at you from a reader's angle. Just, ooh.
Just sometimes, Kelly, I can't believe you did that to a character. And I always send this one gif from Maleficent, like, and they're like, I hate it. I'm like, I'm not going to spoil anything, but yeah.
No, you do it on purpose. It's a very intentional, yeah, okay.
Right, is sometimes my heart breaks and I sob and I cry. But by the time the readers get it, I'm kind of like, haha, okay.
Yes, I understand that feeling very well.